Come on in. Yerp. What's happening then? It's Chris Hall here. You are now tuned into the Chris Hall Show. Let's get this music down. Where we discuss dating, relationships, and much, much more. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today. Are men always to blame? As you come in, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Chris Hall Show. Hit that notification bell so you are notified anytime that I drop some new content. Y'all already know what's going on. There's some broke nigga shit to be drinking out of plastic red cups, you grown ass man. That's ridiculous. Yes. Hit the notification bell, hit the like button on your way in. Why is this thing still playing? Okay, got it. It was on mute though, I think. So yes, it was two things that I seen. One, I was talking to a young lady, and then I seen a video that we're going to watch in a few minutes here from the Jesse Lee Peterson show. He had a lady call in, and it was a very, very interesting conversation, to say the least, and we're going to listen to it in a few minutes, or look at it in a few minutes. And then I was talking to another woman, and somehow or another we started talking about Kevin Samuels' content, and she had this weird reluctancy to blame women for anything. It was the strangest thing. I never seen someone so strong on their beliefs and their views on women not being to blame for anything. She even went to the extent of reaching all the way down to the diaspora, all the way to the ancestors, and said that a woman's attitude had today in 2022 has something to do with slavery. It was very interesting, and I was like, damn, are men always to blame? Is there never a time where you did anything? Like nothing. If you would talk to some women today, you would think that we were all dating Mother Teresa, and we were just the closest things to Hitler. Very strange. Very, very strange. And when you hear these stories, when you talk to women about either their exes or something like that, it seems very one-sided. I mean, I think even in my past relationships, I can admit to some things that I did wrong. I mean, I am the creator of relationships, being a man. So I do hold more responsibility at times due to that very fact. So I can understand how a woman can sometimes, I guess, feel like you did nothing wrong at all, but I'm sure he mentioned something you did. Now, mind you, one can say you may not agree to that thing that he said, but he still said it. And it's still good to at least bring it to the table. At least say, hey, he said this happened. I don't agree with it. But when you talk to some women, this ain't juice though. When you talk to some women, it's as if they did absolutely nothing wrong. And I've noticed also, like, you'll get, sometimes women will say, it's either like our fault or your fault. They can never, it seems as if they can never accept blame by their lonesome. It's always either our blame or yours. And mind you, this is not all women. I'm only speaking to the women who I'm speaking to. And that's another thing I want to touch on a side note. What I've noticed in the arena of public discord is that when we mention your subgroup or subcategory, especially in a negative light, if you feel like you don't have the characteristic of your subcategory in which I'm speaking, then I just never understood why you are to speak up about it if they're not talking about you. Like, let's say I say something about black people. I myself, I am black. If I say something about black people and the shoe doesn't fit on you, then why would you call in and say something? Or not call in, but why would you comment? I'm saying call in because I'm looking at this JOP calling video. But why would you comment or why would you say anything in reference to what that person said if you don't fit? And then you'll call us, well, you were talking about black people. It's not you. If I talk about ugly people, you gonna call? You're not gonna call in then? You're not gonna comment on a post then? You're not going to say nothing then? If I say something about stank people, are you going to say something? No, because I'm not talking about you. Unless you stink. Are you ugly? One of the two. But people don't jump to those, do they? They don't. That was just a side note, man. I do wish that public discord gets a little better. I do think that now that they've allowed us to be on like social media, this is like a big spill out. Remember the spill out in middle school, y'all? To where after lunch, y'all spilled out to a certain area, like kind of like a holding cell until you go to the next class and the next lunch comes in. This is like a big social spill out. And all of us, we're not really being, well, I guess we're being, governed with censorship and things like that. But there's really no teacher here. There's no principal. There's no security guards. We're all just let free. And we're in a 24/7 spill out is what social media is. And people get so triggered by certain things. Instead of just having a conversation about it or not speaking about it at all. You don't have to get triggered. If this is not you, but there is a saying going around, I'm not sure if you heard it, it's called a hit dog gon' holler. Now let's get into the video today. Let's see, I can pull it. Oh, I ain't pulling up already? My bad, y'all. My bad, damn. There we go. All right, so this is, boop. There we go. So this is on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. Let's get right into it.
Danique is a first-time caller out of Georgia. Georgia on my mind. Danique, welcome to the
Hi,
show.
Jesse.
You're on the air.
Thank you, Jesse. I love you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. So basically, I have a question about single women.
Yeah.
I was listening to your show. And
Single
this guy
women or
called in.
single mothers?
Single mothers. I apologize for that.
Okay. All right.
A guy called in, and he stated that he was dating a single mother. And you were like, oh, no, you were stating that, you shouldn't date single mothers.
Right.
I think the guy was in his 20s, and I think the lady was in her 30s or 40s or something like that. I can't remember. And I have a question about that. Are you saying that all single mothers are basically like no good or you shouldn't date them?
Not that they are no good, but you shouldn't date a single mother because you should not come between the mother and the child or the children, because the kids who are with single mothers, boys and girls, are suffering. Mm-hmm. They are suffering because they're yearning for their fathers. And since the father's not around, when the woman bring in another man or another man bring in a woman, they are trying to get ego attention from each other, and the kids are being
Okay.
left out. So now the kids feel like they're being invaded upon by another woman or another man in the family. So it creates more anger and hardship for the children.
But if
Do y'all believe in that? Do y'all agree? Do you agree that a man coming in between a mother and her child can cause issues for that child as she tries to raise them and date at the same time? Which is why he would encourage. And usually when people encourage people to do something else, let's say, hey, I encourage you not to marry an alcoholic. And then they give you the reasons of why you shouldn't marry an alcoholic. But there's also some people who, let's say, may have undergone abuse as a child, and that's why they now have turned to alcohol. You met them. They turned to Jesus or something, got their life clean. Y'all got married, and you live happily ever after. That could happen, correct? Of course. But you wouldn't encourage somebody to date an alcoholic. You wouldn't encourage, let's use something else. Let's say, I'm trying to think of something without hurting anyone's feelings. I think I'll probably stay out of it. But either way, you get my drift. So what do you think? Would you encourage men to date single mothers? Would you encourage women to date men with kids? I think that's always the disconnect between people in general. I don't think this is necessarily germane to women. I think that this is kind of a human thing in general, to where just because you are the person or you identify with one or all of the traits or characteristics someone is saying you shouldn't be with, you then get triggered. Like if someone says, I encourage you not to date light-skinned guys, why would I care? Why exactly would I care so much to where I vehemently call somebody out of their name? Now, mind you, this didn't happen here, but sometimes this is what happens. Like, people get really upset when you have a comment on their subcategory or subgroup.
if men don't date single mothers, because most women have children.
Right.
And the divorce rate is really high these days. So, I mean, that's going.
The divorce rate, my heat, nice. The divorce rate is high because women file for divorce. I think like 80% of the time. Now, whatever your reason is your reason. That's cool and all. I'm sure abuse and cheating is running rampant. I'm certain. Cool. Whatever the reason, I'm just giving you the numbers. I'm not saying that all of them are not justified. I'm not saying that. I'm just presenting you the numbers.
Going to cause more homosexuality, because I mean there's a lot of
Whoa,
women
whoa,
that are single mothers.
Wait a minute.
So Jesse, why didn't
Whoa. What just happened?
it's rumored that you never got married?
It just didn't happen.
Hold on.
Well, you seem to be such a delightful individual. I can't imagine any female overlooking you on this great big planet.
Well,
Here you go. All right, here we go.
So if we, all kept that theory, that have children,
right.
and the divorce rate is really high these days. So I mean that's going to cause more homosexuality.
Okay, so that's what I thought I heard, but I had to make sure. So this woman said that if or due to the fact that most women have children, if we don't date women with children, we are going to somehow be pause to homosexuality. So somehow, due to the fact that, at least what she's saying is, most women have kids, that if we don't date women with kids, most men are then going to be homosexual. Y'all just let that sit in. That might have been the dumbest thing I've heard at least this week, because I hear a lot of dumb shit. And I say a lot of dumb stuff too. Like I said, I only got a high school education. Give me a break. Dropped out of college. But I'm here and you're looking at me talk. Who's the dummy now? So if y'all agree with that, let me know in the comment section. If y'all agree that if men don't start dating or marrying, she's talking about marrying them. If we don't start marrying women with kids, this is so selfish. If that's like me saying, if y'all don't start dating light-skinned men only, you're going to die of AIDS. Like, why would I say that? That's so selfish.
Because, I mean, there's
and a lie.
A lot of women that are single mothers. So if we, all kept that theory, then
it's almost as if she's holding us hostage for ransom or something. It's like, if you don't have sex with me, shoot, you're going to have sex with nobody. Like, what time? It's almost, so she just bypassed. Now she has a good excuse or good reason, because I believe she's going to say that she's widowed. So she did have a baby within a marriage. But it's as if she's just bypassing women having kids out of wedlock, as if that's just, hey, man, it just is what it is. Y'all better get down and lay down. What type of shit is that?
I mean, nobody would really date.
But if a woman already have children, she doesn't need to date. She needs to be putting the attention on the children, and so that they can at least have a little bit of a chance to have a life, right? And then,
yes.
and when men get involved with women who have already have children or already been married with children, they'll just it's like they're taking on another man's trouble, because the reason that woman not with the man because she was impossible to deal with. And so it's just bringing on problem for another man. It's not going to work out anyway.
Yeah, but the Bible, it gives you the right to remarry, if you want. Like, if you're a widow, like in my case, my husband passed 2 years ago, and, I don't want to date. I agree with what you're saying, but there's a lot of women that don't.
So this is what's annoying about some people. And the reason why I understand what's going on, because I have a show and I do one-on-ones with people and I talk to people, right? And when I engage with people, they say things like this. Let me play this again.
My case, my husband passed 2 years ago, and I don't want to date.
Stop there. What happens is you're not even a part of the problem, but you want to be the solution. You want to call in and you want to argue and cape for other women who didn't even ask you to do that. Nobody. You said yourself you're widowed. I'm sorry to hear that, of course, and you're with child. You are a single mother, but you said you don't even want to date, so you don't even have a dog in the fight, if you will. You're not even in the fight. That is so annoying to me, to where people are calling, right? Let's say I'm talking about a subject about women are dating. That person would be like married of 10 years and be trying to debate me on dating. Ain't had a new date in 15 years. Trying to tell me about dating. How? The firmware updates in dating every so often. I would say dating changes at least every 4 or 5 years, there's certain elements about it that just changes. Certain communication patterns, certain things that you used to do that aren't accepted anymore. These things progress, and sometimes they regress depending on the person's perspective.
You know, I agree with what you're saying, but there's a lot of women that don't agree with what I'm saying, because I too think you shouldn't date. You should just focus on your children.
Right.
Plus,
and that is even worse. Not only are you not in the fight, you also agree with the person who has the view. So not only do you agree with the view, this is how much women stuck together. I wish men stuck together like this at times. Of course, when there's a good cause. Women just stick together just by virtue of being women, and that's not cool. Because then you'll never hold people individually accountable for what they do, because you put them all in a group. So, hey girl, I know you did wrong, but we ain't do wrong over here. So let's come together and we ain't do nothing wrong together. That's not how it works. Y'all always want men to hold men accountable for things. Y'all should hold each other accountable as well. So not only does this woman, if she's not in the fight, she also agrees that women should not date and raise their kids. Mind you, this is not necessarily my view per se. But she was calling in with a disagreement, saying, "Hey, my single mom friends sent me. I'm not dating. I'm not dating though. And I agree with you, but my single mom friends sent me over here to tell you they don't agree with you."
I don't want to bring another man around my children. I just want to focus on my kids.
Yeah.
But what about the women that do want to remarry? In the Bible, it says that, in other words, it's okay that, if you remarry.
Did the Bible say anything about minding your damn business? Was that ever in the Bible? Is that in there? I don't know. I'm not a Bible reader like that. But y'all tell me, is there a scripture? I'm gonna Google it. Is there a scripture on minding your business?
Well, most women are real selfish. Just because they want it doesn't mean that the man should do it, right? Because women don't know what they want, and it's a man's responsibility to show the woman the right way. And so rather than the men marry these women, they should correct them on it and remind them that they need to raise their children. It's not about trying to find love, because it's not real love anyway. And they need to correct the women rather than marrying them.
So you're saying women don't know what they want.
Right.
Here's a verse. Proverbs 26:17 says, "Interfering in someone else's argument is as foolish as yanking a dog's ears." If that's in the Bible, y'all let me know. That pretty much sounds like mind your damn business to me.
Yeah.
But what about the Proverb 31 woman in the Bible, where about the Proverb 31 woman, when she was like a business owner, she had a vineyard, she made clothes. I mean, it sounded like she knew what she wanted. She was a Proverb 31 woman, a virtuous woman. So what about that?
That's not a sign that she knew what she wanted, because she made clothes and all that. And I don't know what does that mean, the Proverb 31 woman? That's what she called herself?
Well, I mean,
her name was Proverb.
Lemuel.
Her Proverb.
No, that wasn't her name, but I think King Lemuel, his mother.
Why are you calling her the Proverb 31 woman?
Well, normally, I don't want to say normally, but in Proverbs 31, it gives a description of a virtuous woman.
But why are you calling her that? Most women today are not virtuous women.
Okay, well, you can't say most. I mean,
do y'all think most women are virtuous women? You let me know in the comment section.
Because you haven't met every woman.
Well, that's me.
So again, that's what loses me when I talk to women. Why, when we say most, you hear all? Why is it? should we say some or a few or I know of some? Like what word? Okay, how about this? Let's say I want to criticize constructively a group of people for something that I've seen often, because stereotypes have some truths. How would you like me to go about doing it? That's what I want to know. Let me know in the comment section below. How exactly do y'all want us to broach the subject of constructive criticism towards women? Because this man clearly said most, but for some odd reason, she said you haven't met all. I want to know what is the scientific or psychology word or sociology word for that. When I say something, but you, for some reason, hear something else. And you can hear. But somehow when you ingested it, you regurgitated something else. What's the name of that, y'all? Y'all smarter than me.
I said most, not all, not all, not all, not all, but most women today are not virtuous
really
women.
most.
I'm sorry?
Well, you can't really say that, Jesse.
Yes, you can. When the last time you met a virtuous woman? What the?
Well, I consider myself a virtuous woman.
So you're...
And that's what also happens. If you feel like you are something and someone is talking about that person, it's saying that, like in this situation, he's saying that there are not many virtuous women. But if you feel like you are a virtuous woman, you are one woman. You can use the same theory that you used when you felt that Jesse said all. You can say the same thing to you. When you say, well, I'm a virtuous woman, Jesse could then rebuttal, well, you haven't met all women. But for some reason, you can do it, but he can't. Play the video.
Where you want, or you consider yourself that?
I mean, I consider myself a virtuous woman.
Were you a virtuous woman before you got? Are you married now? Oh, your husband died, right?
Passed. Yes,
are you saying you were
2 years ago.
What's a virtuous woman?
A virtuous woman. Jesse, you're a reverend. I'm sure you read Proverbs 31.
But y'all got all these names that kind of sound nice, but they're not made up to sound nice, but it's not real. What is a virtuous woman?
Jesse, I'm sure you want me to read Proverbs 31
No,
to you?
I just want you to tell me.
You know what that means.
In short, tell.
Now, I think everybody knows when somebody asks you what something means and you really don't know, or you feel like your answer is not up to par, what are you going to say? You know what it means. Come on. You know. You graduated college, didn't you? You know what that means. If you knew, most people enjoy being smarter than others. So when someone says they don't know something, usually people jump to the occasion to let you know what it means, because you want to seem smarter than the person who doesn't know.
Tell me, what is a virtuous woman?
A virtuous woman, to me, is a woman that handles business, and she makes sure that her household is okay. She takes care of her priorities.
Is she a non-married woman?
Of her children. She can be, I consider a virtuous woman. She could either be married,
I know, but this
or
Proverb
she could be a wife.
this Proverb 31 woman, is she a married woman or unmarried?
She's married.
And so she's cooking and cleaning and sewing. That's what she's supposed to do.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that, because I cook. I take care of the household by myself. My husband is not here. And there's a lot of other widows that are also taking care of their responsibilities.
And so what is a virtuous woman?
A virtuous woman, again, is a woman that takes care of the household. She takes care of her responsibilities. She respects herself.
But it's hard to find women like, and that doesn't make a virtuous woman. That just make a woman doing what she's supposed to be doing. But it's
This may sound harsh. Since I can't say most, I'm gonna try some for a little bit and see how some works. Because I personally think as soon as you say women, I could say I've met one woman, and I think women in mass are going to be upset or triggered by it. But I'm gonna try some because clearly most not working for him. I'm gonna try some. Why do some women like to be championed for doing what you're supposed to do? If men are allegedly equal to women in the workplace, right? Y'all have equal opportunity and things of that nature. Y'all have representation. Why do I have to praise you for doing something by virtue of being a woman? You're paying bills. I'm paying bills. Unfortunately, that comes fully equipped with being an adult. That's the basic model of adulthood right there is bills. Every adult should have bills. So you want to be championed for cooking, cleaning, handling business, whatever virtuous term that is, and I'm assuming paying bills. And that's why he said, well, you're doing what you're supposed to do. See, men aren't used to getting praise for doing what we're supposed to do. When we take out the trash, it's just a nigga that took out the trash. When we go to work, it's just a nigga that went to work. When we clean up the house, it's just a nigga cleaning the house. When we cut the grass, it's just a nigga cutting the grass. But for some odd reason, when a woman is doing something, and it's weird because it's almost as if you're the sexist one, because if I don't get praise for paying bills, why do you get praise? Are you saying that you're less than me, so that's why you should get praise for doing something that I can do? That's the weird thing. It's almost as if you all oppress yourself. Think about that. Third, fourth level thinking. If you're saying that you should get praise from doing something that we deem as regular or standard living, that's almost like how black people think about white supremacy. You just believing white people are supreme to you, or superior to you, is a self-inflicted wound right there. You did that. You believe, due to the fact, it's almost like projecting, due to the fact that you believe that white people are better than you. And this necessarily is not a thought that could have been, that was created by only you. This could have been indoctrinated in you. This could have been planted in your head by what you see on TV or whatever. Your parenting, your upbringing. So it may not be your fault. A lot of stuff is not your fault. This is just what you've been taught. But just you thinking that infers that you believe white people are superior. Because think about it. Most people who say white supremacy, it's not as if the white person said they was a white supremacist. Either something the white person did or what the white person is perceived as, you call him a white supremacist. I personally, have never met a white person who thought he was supreme to black people. I'm just saying no one's ever told me. I'm sure your rebuttal will be, well, of course they're not going to tell you, Chris. They're going to keep it in secret. I get it. But either way, back to the video.
It's hard to find women like that. They don't exist anymore. A few, not all, but most. But women today are competing with men, trying to be men.
Well, and there's a lot of men that's trying to be women.
No,
well,
but we're talking about the...
Doesn't that sound like... This is the part where I want to get at. This is the part where you ladies sometimes sound like 8-year-old children when you go on this little banter. I call it like I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I? That's when I hear that banter like that, it sounds very, very childish. Very, very childish, to where I say something about a woman and then you say something about, well, men are too. Well, men are getting feminine.
Versus woman.
I understand that. And like I said, and I'm not being difficult because, like I said, I love your show.
Who's the judge? I've heard this before. Who's the judge of you being difficult or not? You know what I'm saying? It's like you telling a bunch of jokes and saying, I'm not trying to be funny. Like, isn't the person receiving what you're dishing out to be the judge of whether you're being difficult or not? I would say you're being a little difficult, especially in this segment.
Show, and I like a lot of your
No,
theories,
I don't think you're being difficult. You don't need to explain that.
Okay. Yeah. So, but I just basically wanted to just ask you about, single mothers, because all single mothers are not bad people, Jesse, and all of us are not just having kids out of wedlock. A lot of us still respect family. Like, I really respect family, and I teach my girls to respect family as well.
If she was like that, and she would not be trying to date and bring some other man into the home or look for love. She would raise that man's children. Let's say the husband died, right? She would raise his children, and then she would be able to enjoy her children's children. But most women are not like that. Most women I know women who call themselves virtuous women. I've seen them, different shows and things. And nothing virtuous about them at all.
Okay, but women, because I know it also says in the Bible, I don't remember what verse it's in, but older women are supposed to teach the younger women. So maybe some young women that may be going astray, they could aspire to be virtuous women.
But women today, and I would say from 60 down, they are not capable of teaching anyone because they don't know anything. They're all emotional. They have hatred in their hearts. They want to be like a man. They don't want to stay home and raise their children. And they're on ego trips and stuff like that. And they can't teach the younger girls anything because they don't know anything.
But do you think the father, a lot of that plays a part because a lot of the fathers.
Have y'all noticed a trend? Nobody knows a trend? There's something going on. There's a disconnect somewhere, because what I've noticed is when somebody mentions something about women, instead of you saying, instead of you just agreeing or disagreeing, you try to counteract it with something that it's always the man's fault somehow. She continues to go back to, okay, I heard what you said, but the reason that is because don't you think men are such and such and such? And this is someone who was married to a man.
Are not in the home. A lot of them are in jail, or a lot of them may have turned to homosexuality.
So this is what you get. I am so sick and tired of hearing women talk about men are just gay. Men don't do this. Men don't, and it's very strange because women are the main what's the word I'm looking for? Women are it's not inhibitors, or y'all are the ones who hang out with gay men, right? Gay men hang out with gay men and women, right? And it's weird because y'all are pro LGBTQ at in mass, but then you almost talk about men being gay as a bad thing as well when you talk in forums like this. Oh, all men are gay. Pretty much she said all men are there's a large majority of men who are gay or in jail. That is the oldest trope in the book. Now, I don't know how long she's been married. You do hear that a lot from women who haven't been dating for a while. That's like a really old trope. I would say, even I would be honest, even nowadays, I don't hear that as much as I used to when I was younger. So you usually hear this from either older women or women who've been like her. Most likely she's been married she was married for a long time. And that's really distasteful. That's really piss poor of you.
A lot of them just don't want to take care of their responsibilities.
Well,
so
not that they don't
have a lot.
Those things are happening. You're right about that. But most fathers want to be there and raise their children and guide the woman in the right way to go, but they don't know how to deal with the anger of the woman. They don't realize, they don't know how to deal with the hell that's in her. And so they end up leaving the woman, but not their children, not his children, but the woman will make the man think, the woman will make the children think that the father left them when he really didn't leave them, he left her.
I believe that 100%. If you disagree with that, comment in the comment section. But I agree with that 100%. Is that most men love their children. What happens is the man and the woman make a mistake by having a baby out of wedlock, which we all know is something you should not do no matter who you believe in, no matter what God or lack thereof you believe in. Just statistically, in general, in the United States, it is better to raise a child within a marriage. And as you know, people can get widowed, people get divorced, this, that, and the third. So it's not like it's a guarantee, but statistically, it's just better for the child's sake to be raised in a nuclear family within a marriage.
That's how evil she is. She won't say, you know what? Your father left me. He didn't leave you guys. I was held to deal with. He didn't.
Exactly. And what ends up happening is the man and the woman have their problems separate of the child. Unfortunately, the child is the byproduct from the relationship between you and the woman that you cannot get along with. So just like JOP said, you don't know how to handle that woman. You don't know. It could, like I said, men have fault in this too. We're just telling you from a man's perspective, because it's rare that the man's story gets told. You all talk a lot more than we do. So you all get to pitch the story from post to pillar, and the man just really, throws his hands up about it. We don't really complain. We know the world doesn't owe us understanding, and the world is not fair either. We just try to work within the confines. Real men just try to work within the confines of it.
He didn't know how to deal with it. I'm just like his mama, and he didn't know how to deal with it. But they'll make the children think that the father didn't care about them, or they'll make the children think that, oh, your daddy was abusive. Your daddy this, an alcoholic, a drug addict. They don't tell the children the truth about themselves.
Well, do you think instead of beating women down that, do say those things to their children, do you think you should encourage them, give them encouraging words instead of...
Now think about this, y'all. She said, if men don't start dating single mothers, you're going to be gay. She said most of the men are gay or in jail. And was that it? Right. So she said, and she said that men don't take care of their responsibilities. But Jessie Lee Peterson is the one bashing women. She said nothing wrong about men. And I think that's where we've gotten disconnected. It has become disrespect towards men has almost been normalized. I would say it's damn near there. That a disrespect for a man, especially coming from a woman, has been normalized to where you see she just breezed through all those negative connotations that she copy and pasted on men and told him that he was the one tearing down women and she can do no wrong because it's just so easy off of a woman's tongue disrespecting men.
Trying to beat them down. Because a lot of times, some people just need an encouraging word.
What do you mean by beat them down?
Well, the things that you're saying with your words. Because,
like what, for an example?
Like when you say women are evil and, they're...
Is that true?
That's not true, Jesse.
Women are not evil?
All women are not evil.
Is it true that most men are homosexual and most men are incarcerated are homosexual? Is that true, y'all? In the comment section, let me know, is that true? It's so easy for women to speak their truth in complete disregard of the truth. But due to the fact that his truth is not her truth, the truth is not her truth, then this must mean in turn that whoever is saying this, if it's not my truth, then you're bashing women or you're tearing down women. But when you spew it, it doesn't come out like you received this. That's going to take some self-reflection for sure.
You said that the devil does not work through the woman?
The devil does not work through all women.
No, does the devil work through the woman?
The devil works through some women that
the devil works through all women. The devil works through all women until they have been born of the Father. Is that true?
Now, isn't the devil in everybody for the most part? Until as far as the Christian belief, y'all correct me. Like I said, I'm no Bible thumper. Isn't the devil in all of us until we repent for our sins and accept Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior? That's what I thought. I figured if you weren't Christian and weren't walking by the faith or walking in the faith, then you were a sinner, if I'm not mistaken. So why would the devil not work through the woman?
Where is that in the Bible, Jesse?
In Genesis.
That the devil works through all women.
In Genesis,
where the serpent.
The Adam and Eve story.
I've never seen where it specifically.
Oh, so you read about the virtuous woman, but you didn't read about the devil and Eve.
I read about the serpent and Eve. I did. I read about that, Jesse, and it stated
so
that
the serpent still worked through Eve.
The devil still works through everybody if they don't.
But it comes through the woman, though. It comes through the woman, right?
Well, women.
Hold on for me. Hold on. Let me take a break. I want to go back to Danique, a first-time caller out of Georgia. Georgia, on my mind. And Danique is talking about the virtuous woman, which doesn't exist, by the way. And
I wonder if this is a black woman. I just caught the name Danique. That's not really a white woman's name. She sounded like a white woman, but you really never. I don't know, but she sounded like a white. This might be a black woman.
Man should never marry a single mother. Danique, so are you aware of the fall with the Adam and Eve story, right?
Yes, I am.
And are you aware that when that fall happened, that the devil became the woman's god?
I'm aware that the fall occurred, but I still don't think that the devil became the woman's god. Because remember when the Lord came into the garden and he asked for the man. He asked, "Where are you?" Why didn't he ask for the woman first?
Because the man was supposed to stop the woman from doing it.
Exactly. So why
he
didn't he
listened
do
to the
that?
woman. He listened to the woman, and as a result, he could no longer listen to his father. So he hid from his father because he listened to the woman. But you are aware that the devil became the woman's god, and then the woman became, when Adam listened to the woman became the man's god, right?
Well, don't you think
No.
Adam became...
If the devil, and I might be out here preaching, if the devil deceives you, isn't the devil now your God? Because he deceived you to believe in him instead of your God. Is this not accountability towards yourself? I'm lost.
The devil became Adam's God as well because he listened to the woman, and the woman listened to the snake, the serpent. So you can't just blame the woman.
So when the woman listened to the devil, when the woman listened to the devil, and the devil became her God, and she would no longer obey and listen to her husband. And when the man listened to the woman who had listened to the woman became his God, and he could no longer listen to his father. Is that right?
No, because I believe both of them fell, and both of them were separated from...
See, that's what I was talking about earlier. Sometimes you'll meet women to where it's either the man's fault. I'm really not down, but the most I'll give you is our fault. And that takes a lot, actually. I think she was really, really banking on somehow maneuvering or snaking through this and somehow trying to find out how she can make it the man's fault only. But now it seems like she's kind of backing into a wall, and the most she can give him is it's our fault.
From God.
You said both of them what?
They did. Both of them were separated from God because they listened to the serpent.
Well, the woman was separated from the man, and the man was separated from God.
But God kicked both of them out the Garden of Eden.
Right, because the woman had listened to the devil, and the man had listened to the woman, and so they both got kicked out.
So they're both to blame, not just the woman.
But the woman is to blame for listening to the devil, right?
But God put the man in the garden first.
It's the woman to
the
blame.
Garden, he should have managed the woman as well. He managed the animals. He named the animals. Why he couldn't manage the woman?
It's
and
the
take
woman.
charge, or he took charge of the animals.
It's the woman to blame.
So she's pretty much saying that because if I'm not mistaken, Jesus gave us or God gave us willpower. So you still can do what you want. But so due to the fact that Adam couldn't, like y'all say now, handle Eve, and Eve decided to listen to the serpent, she's still trying to say it is Adam's fault.
Blame for listening to the devil?
It's the man to blame as well because he didn't listen to God neither. God told both of them.
It's the woman to blame for listening to the devil?
The woman and the man is to blame, not just the...
I'm going to tell you, there's nothing worse than a Christian feminist. I mean, nothing worse. They Bible thump and somehow also don't hold women accountable and hate men at the same time. It is the strangest thing, y'all.
The woman, the both of them.
It's the woman to blame for listening to the devil.
It's Adam and the woman that both listen.
Is the woman to blame for listening to the devil?
Jesse, I can't say that the woman is just to blame. Both of them were at fault.
But I'm asking you about the woman. I'm asking you about the woman.
Okay.
Is the woman to blame for listening to the devil?
She takes part in it.
Is the woman blamed for listening?
Look how difficult this is. Most sane people would say, this is a simple question to answer and let's move forward. It's as if women are taking some type of score and you don't want to lose. So this is like that. You're down 2 points with 3 seconds left and you're just trying to shoot that 3-pointer to win the game. Like, you will not allow your brain to answer simple questions. And fellas, make sure that you use these communication tactics when you're vetting women. Make sure that you stick to a subject and do not let them weasel into something else or try to spin cycle you to where they say a bunch of circling words and statements that don't really lead to anywhere and confuse you, and you just get out of the conversation. Stick to you see how he sticks to the question of, is Eve to blame for listening to the devil? That's the part where he's asking. And mind you, JLP knows the story of Adam and Eve. He knows both of them are wrong at the end of the day. But what he's doing is what I like to do as well. I try to find something really simple to see if the woman I'm talking to is capable of holding a woman accountable for anything. I just be trying to find something very simple to try to just to gauge the person I'm talking to see what am I dealing with. I do that all the time. I try with little, softball questions just to see how disingenuous this woman or man, whoever I'm talking to, because I try to break it down to the smallest molecule to see if this person really wants to have a debate and learn something and share ideas of intellect, or do they just want to prove their point? Because that's what will end up happening. When you ask people questions, they try to spin the question so there's no way that you can have a gotcha moment at the end if they answer it properly. And that's very disingenuous, man. That's how you know you're wrong when you do that. Because someone who's right doesn't need to do that. You see, he didn't do that.
Listening to the devil.
Jesse, you can't leave somebody else out. They both took part in that. So
I can almost guarantee you all the money in my bank account if he would have just said, because she's trying to do it as well. It's funny how she was ready to she attempted to blame Adam. And I'm sure if JLP would have said, yeah, you know what, you got me, it was Adam's fault, she would have left Eve out. But she just, y'all don't even know, because I get that y'all communicate through your emotions, so you feel a way about certain things, so you end up saying it but not realizing it. When you pull back the tape, you're really contradicting yourself. Really, you're being very hypocritical, because you were gung ho on blaming Adam for all of this and leaving Eve out. But then in the same breath, when he's trying to prove a point that Eve was wrong for doing such and such, no, you can't leave Adam out. Y'all have to pay attention to this. This is not just some crazy lady, okay? This comes out in a lot of women today.
both of them that.
Is the woman one individual person?
She's one individual person.
And is that one individual person, the woman, to blame for listening to the devil?
I just can't. I'm sorry, Jesse. I can't just say that the woman is to blame. I think both of them are to blame.
I wonder, is this a disease or something? This is going to be studied one day. I hope so. I'm not smart enough to study it, but I hope that the great minds of the nation one day come together and just study this. Study the cognitive dissonance of some people in general. Because I've talked to men as well, that somehow is something in in the crux of your soul that will not allow you to take accountability for something that's cut and dry. She said, man, she just could not do it. That is astounding to me at times.
But you don't think the woman is to blame by herself?
Not by herself.
But
See, because I can say Adam is to blame by himself for listening to Eve. Why can't she say Eve is to blame by herself from listening to the devil? Is that not crazy? Adam and Eve were wrong. She tried to just blame Adam because she tried to peel it back to what Jesus told him, or what God told him to do, is to take care of the animals and make sure you manage Eve. And since he couldn't manage Eve, he was really to blame ultimately, is where she wanted to go with it.
she's the one that listened to the devil. She was one person who listened to the devil. Why isn't she to blame for listening to the devil by herself?
Because God gifted both of them.
This is so amazing.
That's amazing.
It's the man to blame
it's
for.
the truth.
It's the man to blame for listening to the woman.
She said it's the truth, and that be it right there. Ladies, your truth is not the truth. Let's say it again, y'all. Y'all ready? Your truth is not the truth. One more time for the special kids in the back. Shout out to y'all. Your truth is not the truth. Okay? Until we get to that point, I think we will always be at a rift at times in public discord like this. Because people will come on with their own feelings. And like I said, men do this as well. And they come on with their feelings and call it truth. That's not the truth. You just feel a way, and you cannot bear holding the first woman. If you can't hold the first woman accountable, well, what you gonna do now? You ain't holding nobody accountable at that point.
Yes, the man.
Oh, see how easy she said yes to that?
the woman.
So how come you
I mean,
didn't say, why didn't you say, oh, they're both to blame? Why you just said yes on that one?
Because Eve.
You a
listened to the
virtuous
serpent.
woman.
No, Jesse, just listen. Eve listened to the serpent, and the man listened to Eve.
But
That's
Denise,
why I was
you
saying
said
both
you
of them are
couldn't say yes, the woman is to blame for listening to the devil. You had to try to pull the man in. But
Yes,
when I
because
asked you,
God
was the
told the
man
man
to
to
blame
manage the
to listen?
garden.
When I asked you if the man was to blame for listening to the woman, you're like, yes.
But Jesse,
You don't.
I called it. When it comes to blaming men for things, it is almost commonplace to blame a man. It's weird. You don't want men in charge, but men are to blame whenever some shit goes on. You're going to have to pick one. I'm down for saying I'm a woman, I'm inferior to a man, you got it. I can't really be mad at that. I'm not saying that's my view. I'm going somewhere, follow me, don't get triggered. But you can't say we both are in charge because you're my partner, but when shit hits the fan, it's on you. I'm getting the fuck out of here. You ladies want to have your cakes and eat it too. Pick one. If you, I'm all for y'all backing up, kissing the ring, and say, hey, I'm a woman. I want you to take the lead. I'm going to stand my feminine energy over here, taking care of the kids, cooking, cleaning, maintaining, being a house manager, making sure you're good with what you got going on. So when shit hits the fan, it's on you. But you the man. I'm with that. But we can't have it all here, okay?
Isn't
see the
man
hypocrisy in
responsible?
that?
No, just listen, Jesse.
No. You
You
don't
were
see the
talking about
hypocrisy
order.
in that.
No, there's no
Why
hypocrisy in
can't
that.
you?
Do you know how stressful that is for a man to hear this whole conversation and for at the end, this person still does not see any problem with what she has said throughout this 22-minute conversation?
Remember you was-
Why can't you admit that the woman is to blame for listening to the devil? What would happen to you if you said yes to that truth?
That's how far he had to go. He's like, man, is this woman's gonna implode if she gives women accountability? That's how we really be thinking. Like, man, is this a disease? What's going on?
Nothing but happens to me.
Well, why can't you admit that?
Because I don't agree that the woman played a part alone. Didn't you say?
When she was in the garden. She
Yes,
was in the
see?
garden listening to the devil. Adam was nowhere around.
But God told both of them not to touch that fruit.
When she was
But
in the
remember you
garden,
said-
when she was in the garden listening to the devil, was Adam around?
The woman saw
Was Adam
that the tree
around?
fruit
Was
good.
Adam around?
It doesn't state that Adam was right there when the woman saw.
And so the
fruit
woman
on
was
the tree.
alone there, right? When she listened to the devil.
Yes, he was
And so
alone,
if
and she
Adam
did
is not
listen.
there, how was he going to stop her from doing it when he wasn't around?
How do you?
That's a good point. Because remember, she tried to blame it on Adam from earlier because Adam's the man. God appointed him to do this, that, and the third, to manage everything else under him, and he wasn't doing a good job because he allowed Eve to listen to the devil. But now he's stating, hey, Adam wasn't even there. So how can you stop someone from doing something that they don't even know is going on? You have to be held accountable for it because this was not Adam's tutelage. It's not his guidance for you to do that.
You know that Adam wasn't there because it
You
said
just
he
said he
took
wasn't
some of
there.
the
She was
fruit.
alone in the garden.
He probably okay.
He probably,
Okay, so
no,
both of us.
probably.
How do both of us know for sure that he wasn't there?
Oh, now we don't know for sure. Yo, it's something wrong with some of y'all, man. Are y'all ladies, I know you watching this. Come on. Y'all gotta give me this one. Even y'all sitting down like, boy, but come on. Even y'all sitting back like this lady is slap nuts. This lady done lost her mind. She done contradicted herself 4-5 times. She's being disingenuous at best about most of what she's saying.
Does it state that he wasn't there?
Yes, she was alone and the serpent approached her.
Where does it state that?
And let
he's
me ask you
alone?
this. God didn't punish Adam for listening to the devil. God punished Adam for listening
Yes,
to the.
he did.
He punished
Yes,
her
he
for
did,
listening
Jesse.
to. Hold on. He punished him for listening to the woman. It's the woman that listened to the devil.
Okay, but the man was punished as well.
For listening to the woman, right?
Yes, but he told both of them not to touch the fruit, Jesse.
Right,
So both
but-
of them were
And
scolded
Adam didn't touch
for
the fruit.
disobeying God.
Adam did not touch the fruit. The woman touched it.
Adam ate
And the woman
fruit
gave it.
and he
And
ate
the
it.
women gave it to the man. But
It don't matter if
Danique,
his hand touched the fruit, his mouth touched it because he ate it.
Danique,
Yes, Jesse.
you
Just think about this. Now I get that he's running the show, so he's on for like 3 hours. So he ain't going nowhere in no way. So I understand why he's doing it. But think about how bored you have to be to on a week. Because he comes on, at least Eastern time, from like 9 to 12, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, around 9 to 12 Eastern Standard Time. He's on West Coast time. For you to be home to have this silly of a debate about did Adam do this and Eve do that, knowing damn well what the story says. You know what the story says, but you want to argue how you feel about the story that he's telling versus the one that you want to tell yourself. Forget what the Bible said. This is my truth.
You're a Bible thumper. You don't want to face the truth about it.
I'm not Bible thumping.
You are
Jesse.
Bible thumping. You talk about the virtuous woman.
When they conquered.
You talk about the virtuous woman which does not exist, and you talk about Adam and Eve, but you won't say what Eve did.
I did state what Eve did.
But you would not admit it was her fault.
It was not her fault.
Oh, okay. Amazing.
It was both. It wasn't her fault alone. It was both of their fault, Jesse.
It wasn't Adam's fault.
This maybe I'm tripping. This doesn't sound like a 14-year-old girl or something like that, like a 12, 13, like a teenager, like a young teenager talking. This is a grown woman with children. This person who cannot decipher something so simple is raising children. Just remember that.
It was Adam's fault.
No, it wasn't.
Because he ate it. Jesse and God, they both disobeyed God.
No, she did. She disobeyed her husband.
He did too. So why was God looking for him in the garden? Why did he say, "Where are you?"
We going around in a circle right now.
And why did God say? He said,
Eve.
"I told."
Denise.
Did you call me Eve?
Yeah, that was an accident.
That was not an accident, Jesse.
But Denise, we have Bible thumping Thursdays, so you can call me back on Thursdays so we can Bible thump.
Okay, I'll do that, Jesse. But thank you so much for taking my call.
All right, call me again.
And I still love you.
Same here. Okay, bye.
What y'all think about that? The virtuous woman. But those, I mean, obviously that was extreme, right? So I get it. That was extreme. But I'm telling you, man, it really be conversations like that I'll have with some women to where it would, to me at least, mind you, I don't know what's in y'all brains and how y'all decipher things. So I know me, I can only control my consciousness. I don't know what you're doing. I can just present some information and hope that you compute it how I computed it. That's where communication comes in, right? So sometimes I'll be saying something so simple. I remember I asked this woman because she was hell bent that women have done nothing to men in 50 years. I said, because I was telling her, well, men have been, in the forefront to being liars, cheaters, like she was saying, homosexual, in jail, incarcerated, things of that nature. It's been said that, and deadbeat dads, especially black men, on daytime television for the past 30 years or so. I thought this was standard. Mind you, I ain't mad. I'm just pointing out the facts. That's all. Do I look bad? It was weird. I don't be mad. I just be pointing out the facts. That's all. And my bad. And I just asked this woman, is this true, yes or no? Right? She would not answer it. She went around and around and around and around in a circle until eventually I stopped her. It was maybe like 3 to 5 minutes. I stopped her and I was like, yo, you have not answered it yes or no as of yet. And she's like, well, you cut me off. I said, my nigga, we've been talking for you have been talking for 5 minutes. It's a yes or no answer. Has there been rhetoric about black men in a negative light? It's weird because this is a person who cared about the black community. But when a black man was challenging her with something versus women, see, women is going to put woman in front of that black shit. Trust me on this one. Woman goes first, then black. Because when I bring the black stuff, when I talk about black men, that black woman comes first in any facet that you talk about, in any way, shape, or form. So I was like, why my shirt look like that? Maybe it's the shirt. I don't know, y'all. We have technical difficulties. We good? Whatever. So I started, like I said, what I'll end up doing is breaking stuff into the simplest form to see if this woman is just a naturally disagreeable woman, which I run into a lot. A lot of women try to challenge men intellectually, and you think that's what we're looking for. We're not looking for that. I don't want you to challenge me intellectually. Go to work and challenge your boss intellectually. Go challenge your coworker intellectually, your customers intellectually. Don't come to me challenging me that's not why I didn't ask you for that. Women know what men want in theory. Women think that men want what they think men want. Why don't you ask a man what he wants? In closing, we need to realize that in many situations, men aren't always to blame. It is not until, and I'm talking to the black community in this sense, until women start holding other women accountable, we will always be in this loop. Y'all seen this video. There's no way that we can have a community of women who think and talk like that. There's no way. No way. This is why I believe that women need a strong man for leadership and tutelage. Not because you're inferior, because you're superior in other avenues. This is why we are not equal, because our good traits don't match. There's great things about us that we're superior to you, and you are superior in other things that we are inferior. This is why we're supposed to be together. But whenever we say something like that, due to the fact that you get triggered by it and you feel less than or something like that, is when you start becoming disingenuous, like the young lady that we just heard. In closing, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. I thank all y'all for watching the show tonight. You know, we'll be right back at you. I don't really have no closing, man. It just be, I'm out. Play the music, man.